Hey guys, welcome back to another recap video. Today I made $2,200 trading the Nasdaq futures, and I'm gonna walk you through every single trade live and uncut. Market's been at all-time highs, so the market's been tricky. It's been slow grinding up, fake outs everywhere, and it's been low volatility for the most part. But I had a clear plan: only long above previous day highs, no chasing, no forced shorts. I waited for structure. I took 4 trades. I had 2 wins, 2 losses, and I fortunately came out on top. These are the days where you kind of just need to survive. You just need to stay sharp, stay patient, and wait for your moment. I'm just gonna be walking you guys through all the trades I took today, and I'm gonna be showing you guys all my commentary and my trades in Discord that I also shared in real time. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first. Right before the market even opens, I'm noticing that we have been in a super clear uptrend, as you can see here, right? And the first things I'm looking at is, okay, as long as the market is kind of hovering above 800, you know, we see previous day high at 825. So we see a bunch of resistance here at the 800. So as long as the market's above this 800 to 825 area, I am only looking for a long. So let's go ahead and draw a little rectangle between 800 to 820. Okay. Let's do that. Let's extend it. All right, sweet. Okay. So as long as the market is between this area, I am looking for a long. Then you can see here, we have the overnight high at 900. No, it's not showing up, but it might show up in a little bit. Hold on. Okay, it's not showing up. But anyways, we had the overnight high at 915, so this is kind of what I'm looking at. Maybe it'll show here. It's not. Okay. Anyways, and then you can see in Discord, I say, plan is strictly looking for longs unless we are under 22,800. So we have the previous day resistance, which is the previous day high, and I'm only looking for a long because we are holding it. And if we're basing right above it, then I'm obviously looking for a continuation for the market to go a little bit higher. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna play this on 50 speed. Let me slow this down. So now we're starting to dip into the box that I talked about, right? And at this point, I'm saying, right here, Friday highs under 800. I would expect 730 on lower. We can possibly wait for 800 for a liquidity sweep. So if we sweep 800 here, we could goes a little bit under and goes right back up. We could kind of take a liquidity that would be a liquidity sweep, and we could take a long. And yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at the moment. So at this point, I don't trade the first hour, so this is still the first hour. I let the market first develop its range and tell me what it wants to do, and then I trade after. So this was the 800 sweep I was looking for, right? We see a bunch of lower wicks, one here, and we see it trying to hold down here. Remember the 800 area, it's in our green box, right? I'm really interested in taking a long, but it's still too early. It's still only 9:51. It's only been 20 minutes into the market. It's too early. The market, for all I know, is it could just start flushing down to the overnight low. Down here at 750, or it could possibly even go to 700 down there, or maybe retest to 686 from the opening price from Friday. So it's just too early to tell. So I'm waiting, but this was what I was looking at the moment. The sweep at 800, as I said in Discord right here. Can wait for the 800 liquidity sweep, retest to take longs. We sweep, we hold the opening range low, and then we end up grinding back up. Oops, sorry. At this point, I'm not really interested in taking longs anymore, and here's why. I keep seeing insane amount of size on the ask, and on the DOM. So we could see here, 400 came at 835. So at somewhere here, there was 400 lots, and then another 400 came at 829, and then like 900 came in, where, let me see. Then 900 came in at 842 a little bit later, so somewhere in this area at the opening range mid. So there's been lots of insanely large size. So what this is telling me is someone is selling in this area. Every time where we go down, there's a super large area. There's a super large seller in this area. So I'm not really interested in taking along because I'm assuming they have the upper hand. We made the overnight high 915. We're 100 points lower, and we're seeing a big seller step in under 830 to 840. Why would I be interested in taking along? I'm obviously not looking to take along at all. I am now at this point I'm like, okay, maybe if we go to this 840 area, maybe we could possibly take it short. I'm not really too interested in taking long just because of the seller in the area. So at this point I'm not rushing any trades, even though I really want to take it long in this area, but this seller is kind of messing with my thoughts. So I'm being super patient. I'm not really rushing anything. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this may just end up balancing the entire day, up, down, up, down, up, down. Let me just long in this area. So if it comes back down to 815 to 820, so maybe anywhere in this area with a stop, at 810. So right under these wicks right here, right? And let me target 840. So at this, where the seller was at, so anywhere in this area. And yeah, I'm just thinking if it just ends up balancing here the entire day, I missed out on a ton of little 20, 30 point rotations because I was so scared of the seller up here when it may not even be a seller for all I know. For every seller is a buyer. So at this point, I'm now looking for longs. And at this point, I take it long down here at 820, and my stop is now at 810. So right under, basically right at these wicks. So if I draw a little horizontal line like this, this is where my stop is at, and then I'm targeting 840 to 845. And then you can see, I say along 820, 810 stop loss, and this is what the chart looked like. So you can see that it's the exact same thing. And right here, we start seeing some resistance near the 837, where what I ideally wanted to see is a bigger breakout like this, where we just move up super strong up. But what we end up seeing is there's a loss of resistance in this area. So in this, here we had resistance, here we had resistance, here we had resistance. So I know at this 840 area right here, there's plenty of sellers. And should I be holding it the entire day? Holding it? Why should I? Right? What this probably is going to do is probably going to go somewhere between 840 to maybe 846, so an extra 6 points, and it'll maybe come back or right back down. It's not worth it to hold for the breakout. There's a very small chance that it ends up going all the way up, and if it does, then oh well, it sucks, I missed out. But if it doesn't, it'll just end up round tripping. And while I could have taken profits and tried again down here, just keep going, just keep rinsing the range up and down, up and down, up and down. Does that make sense? So at this point I'm looking to exit. It goes to 840 and I take my exit. I say here I am looking for 40s, and then I say flat 40 and I made 20 points. Super simple trade. Literally just trading the range, and look what happens right after we sell. Maybe within 2 points it ends up brown tripping, where we could have tried again. But at this point I'm thinking the large seller is still up here because look how fast that reaction was. I'm not too interested in taking a long. I'll just be patient for the next trade. Let the market form a little bit more structure. I think one thing you guys got to keep in mind is there's not always thoughts running through my head. You kind of just have to let the market trade on its own, and then react when it's needed. And at this point I'm thinking, okay, could you notice one thing that's different between all these resistance areas, between this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one? You can see here it spent a significantly more amount of time at the 840 area than at 840 here, 840 here, 840 here, 840 here, 840 here. Right? All these other ones tap and reverse, tap, reverse, tap, reverse, tap, reverse, tap, reverse. Maybe this one spent a little bit 2 extra minutes, but then we have this one where we're spending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are 10 minutes in this area and we are not dropping. What does that tell us? Every single time we went to 835 to 840 before, we touch it, bam, reverse. We touch it, reverse. Touch it, reverse. Touch it, reverse. But in this area, we're holding it for 10 minutes straight. That's telling me that maybe the seller that was here is not there anymore, or there's just stronger buyers holding it up. You can see here, here, here as well. So at this point, I'm thinking, and then I highlight it all in my Discord, I'm thinking all other reactions are instant tap and reverse, but look what's happening now. It's just chilling by resistance. It's completely different reaction. We're still in balance, so we're still chopping up and down, right? We can see I have this resistance area marked. I can mark it on the chart for you guys. And then, but I'm leaning a little bit more bullish because of how it's holding up here. balance always leads to breakout because one side always has to get punished. There's tons of shorts up here and there's tons of longs up here. Whichever way it breaks, one side's gonna get punished, right? So at this point, I'm waiting for the breakout. Here's what I'm thinking: it breaks out above, it fails, it tests 44 again, it fails up here, and then I take it short, kind of like a failed breakout setup. The ones that we always take and we always make money on. So it tries to break out and it fails. Right? It's kind of what I was looking at. And we drop all the way from 60 all the way down to 35. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, now I could take the same old resistance setup at 45, 46, whatever, the same resistance somewhere up here. And with a stop, just right above the highs, so right above 60, not the day highs, just above these local highs. So the whole idea is it rejects the opening range mid, and I take it all the way back down since we're just chopping up, down, up, down, up, down. And then the one time we went up, we failed. So I'm thinking we reject the same area we rejected 6 other times before, and we go right back down. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I take a short at this area, and my stop's right above here, and it just doesn't end up working. It ends up breaking out, and I eat my stop at 857 or whatever it was. I think I stopped like 2 points early. And I end up eating my stop right above these highs. It was a really good setup. It should have worked, but it's not all trades are gonna work all the time. Like this one could have flushed, And at this one, I'm saying unlucky timing on that. There was the 5-minute looked beautiful, so we rejected up here, and we're upper wicking in the same area again. And then we had loss of absorption. You can see with the delta up here. So what I was looking at is rejecting is the the 50s area, and basically going all the way back down to the 800. So I was risking around 15 points to make around 50 or 40. But at this point, you can see NQ is struggling once again in the 60s area. And I am saying, I do think it's harder to short NQ because of this lower high it made, a higher low it made. But if we look at ES, we can see ES is struggling super hard to break the 62.44, the opening range made. So every time we go to it, it rejects. And at this point, I'm saying, I do think NQ is a short up here at 860 to 863. Same with ES at 42 to 44. And let's see what happens. So at this point, I'm looking to short again, basically the same exact idea I had for this one, right? We had a failed breakout above, so it's kind of the same thesis, right? We range, failed breakout above, we come test the same resistance, I look short it all the way down here, right? Same thing. Failed breakout above, I look to short the same resistance, kind of drop all the way back down here again. This is a little bit more aggressive, but it was worth it. I say looking at possibly shorting 42 to 44, and then targeting 810 to 815, so it's targeting somewhere in this box. You can see this kind of blue box. So we failed right above at the red. I'm shorting blue box and targeting A15 all the way down there, just looking for an insta flush, right? And then I give my entry. I shorted 39s and 40s, whatever. And then my stop's at 48. So my stop's a little bit right above this opening range mid area. This is where ideally, the trade's kind of invalid. We literally just squeezed right back above instantly. I was very, 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 very surprised. I only lost 8 points on that, like 8.5 points on that, whatever. So it's not a big deal. But I was very surprised to see this not work because it was the same setup as this, and usually they work. But so kind of something like this, right, where we reject here and then we just round trip. And if you look at the 10-minute right here, we're kind of just ranging. So I was eventually right, because you could see the same thing, the same exact trade that we took here and here, ended up working here and here and here again, right? So it's just very, very, very unfortunate that I didn't take it again, which is why I emphasize taking the same setup when it shows up. But it's just hard when you take 2 losses in a row on the exact same trade, right? Where we fail to break out above, I take it, it fails. It fails to break out above, I take it, it fails. Then it fails to break out above again at this 860 area, so we could draw like a sell zone right here, right? Let me color it red so we can identify, right? So we can tell every time it goes to this 860 area, 1, 2, 3 times, it fails. And then when we rejected the 844 right here, ended up working. Literally the exact same trade. I would have taken it here, wouldn't have gotten stopped. Just very unfortunate I didn't take it again. Or would have literally been top ticket here as well. So the trade setup is valid here and here. It's just unlucky that it didn't work. Yeah. And at this point, you can see here on the 10-minute, we just swept the day low because of some Canada, Japan news, whatever, some tariff news. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I am looking for a long between 800 to 810. Closer to 800, the better. Be patient with it because it wasn't really reacting that much. And yeah, I'll show you guys when that happens. So at this point, I'm almost break even on the day. I'm like negative 2 points or something. I'm not really down much. Maybe like I'm negative like $300. So I'm pretty close to break even. So at this point right here, I'm thinking I want to take a long. Why do I want to take a long? Thank you for asking. Basically every single time. So since we're in a range, right? You can see here every single time we go to the edge of a region, we snap. So we push really aggressively and then we reverse. So you could see it kind of right here, right? Where we push really hard, we stall it, we reverse. We push really hard, big pop, we reverse. We push really hard and we reverse. Same thing here, right? We push really hard, but that was a news thing. You could see it kind of somewhere down here, right? We push really hard, we sweep this opening range low at 815 and we reverse. Same thing here, we push super hard twice in a row. We stall, you could always see a tiny body candle, tiny body, and then we end up reversing. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, we are just ranging, right? We are stuck between this 800 and this 850 or this 870, whatever you want to call it. So at this point, I'm thinking I want along this bottom area. Anywhere, as long as we're, a little bit under this 860, whatever, 786, I'm sorry, we should be good. Like, I'll give it room to 780, but that's about it. So I'm gonna just a psychological number, not really anything, no magic level or anything. So we're gonna draw this line right here, at 780. And at this point, I'm thinking I want a long anywhere near 790, anywhere near this bottom area would be a fantastic long. And I could have a 10-point stop at 780. That'll be great. So we could already see some small buying come in here already because we're trying to hold this area, but it's not enough to get us over this 810 area. So I'm thinking, okay, hence why I said be patient with it. This is not reacting down here. Holding off for a minute or so in case it flushes. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a flush, basically to stop out everyone that bought down here. Because you know how every single time you buy, it goes the opposite direction. It takes out your stop, and then it goes right back in your direction. So I was waiting to buy everyone else's stop. It flushed down here. We had the super strong flush. We had the wick. I added, right as we started wicking, I added 790, and my stop is just a little bit under these wicks. So my stop's right at 780. I was actually really, really, really lucky. It came 1 point from my stop. We see another large wick down here. And then, boom, you get an instant spike. And now, what am I targeting? I'm targeting previous support at 812 to 815. So I'm targeting somewhere in this area where we rejected. So a breakout just right above 810 to get us in this 815 area, the opening range low, and I'll sell it. Why specifically the opening range low? You could just see we used to bounce lots of times in the area, and just based on common market structure knowledge, previous support becomes resistance, previous resistance becomes support. I'm looking to sell down here. Now, what I really kind of failed to, kind of put it into perspective is that we are at the bottom of the range. So ideally, I could have sold half at 816, and then I could have kept the rest for 840 or maybe even 870. I just did not see a squeeze happening. I was just looking, to make a quick 20-30 points and, bounce. So we end up popping really quickly. And I already had my TP set, and it fills me at 815 or like 813 or something. And then that was the last trade of the day, by the way. So I said I long 790, 780 stop loss, targeting 807 to 812. So it's just somewhere in right above this area. 807 was this resistance, but we broke out. So I was targeting 812 to 815, and I was just looking for a squeeze right above 800, and I flattened at 815. And you can see here the 1 minute chart, how it looked like. And then the market held 800. I kind of missed that long. I should have probably re-added, and unfortunately I didn't, and the market just ended up squeezing all the way back up, and it ended up making new highs, matter of fact. So I literally had the bottom of the day here. Very unfortunate. And at this point, I'm not looking to take any more trades. Then you're gonna ask me, why didn't you take a short up here? Well, because it's going vertical. There's no reason to take a short. You know, I kind of, this is the better short trade, right? When on the way down, we bounce a little bit back up and we struggle, and then you keep continue going in the same direction. You want to be on the right side of the V. This is something I learned from Lance. So think about it, a V like this. You don't want to be shorting on the upside of the V. You want to be shorting on the downside. So imagine this is the, you know, downside of the V. Think about it like V right here, upside, a downside, and we're shorting kind of on the way down. It didn't work, but you know, kind of worked all the other times. This is the upside version, so I kind of don't want to short there. Sure it worked, but you know, it didn't, not really, you know. So we kind of just ended up squeezing. I literally had the low of the day here. I didn't see this coming, but kind of is what it is. I stuck to my plan. It could have very well went to 815 top there and just ended up making new lows, and I would have sold the top. So you kind of just have to stick to your plan. Sometimes it'll be in your favor, sometimes it won't. So I bought here and I sold here. That was the top. It could have broke out, right? It could have went all the way up there, and I'd been like, oh my god, I sold too early. Same thing here, I sold too early. But when you don't sell too early, you know, quote unquote sell too early, it could reverse and, you know, take out your stop or get you right back to break even. So that's why it's pretty important to stick to your setups. No matter what you think is going to happen, right? Because plenty of times you might have the top or the bottom, and sometimes, you know, you sold at the exact time, and sometimes you sold a little bit too early, but sometimes you sold at the exact top. So you don't really know what you could get. The best you could do is just manage your risk, and yeah. And then that was the last trade, and then I wanted to recap the trade. So this that type of trade is basically called an exhaustion move. What do I mean by an exhaustion move? I mean, when it squeezes or drops excessively quickly right into the extreme of a range. So when we go to the extreme side of a range, all the way at the bottom or all the way at the top, really, really, really quickly, this is kind of what I mean by an exhaustion move. And there's a much higher chance of it reversing back in the range if the entire day is just bouncing up and down, because those players, those traders, are kind of caught off sides now. It's just kind of how, you know, range days work. When it's bouncing up, down, up, down, up, down, and someone tries to push really hard at the top or the bottom, most of the time they'll get fucked. So I just waited for the aggressive push down because I did not see a reaction at this 800, and I bought it with a tight stop in case that is the breakout to the downside. So it could have very, very well just, you know, kept flushing down, which is why I had a tight stop. But the reward was, we didn't catch that much of it, but it was still kind of rewarding. And then we got the quick reversal. I kind of marked other spots where it happened. So here, where all we had the super quick pumps where I already highlighted here, and then they end up reversing really quickly. And that was kind of the recap for that trade. You kind of just have to wait for the exhaustion move on the extreme side of a range. Most of the time they work really, really, really quickly. Within 2-3 minutes, they usually snap back really, you know, forcefully. And I should have maybe added back or sold half and kept, but I unfortunately stuck to my plan. And fortunately, sorry, not unfortunately, and didn't see it coming. So anyways, that is the recap for today. You know, very simple day. I just waited. I made sure that I'm not shorting above the previous day high, which is 825, the 800, the level I recapped in the morning. I took the 2 losses here, and just unfortunate timing when they worked here, and here as well. And then we ended up having low a day, somewhere at 790, and I did not hold it for the squeeze. Kind of wanted to know, I had the right thoughts at 860. I just shorted a little bit too early, especially down here. I maybe should have, you know, waited until it was 860 again, or maybe I should have tried again at 860. But I just didn't like the fact that it was consolidating at the highs. It was kind of scary, obviously, because why is their buyer showing up at the highs? You know, I didn't want to see that. Kind of wanted to see like a quick rejection like that, and then I'd take it, you know. Anyways, I hope this recap helped. I know you guys love them, so I'm sorry I haven't been too active with them. I promise I'm gonna make more in the future, but I hope this recap helped, and I will see you guys. I'm gonna try to make them more consistently, so I'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow or the day after if we have a good trading day. I hope you guys benefited, and I hope you guys have a good trading day tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys in the Discord. I'll leave the link in the description. Have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching.